Hey man, it's called business, dog. You gotta know what you're doing.
All
I'm joking.
right.
I'm joking.
Hey,
I would never do that, man. I couldn't
Look.
take nobody's stuff. I've had that happen to me.
me and my wife
But-
talk about it all the time. There's no such thing as a billionaire with morals. It's impossible.
There is.
Eh,
There is.
eh.
You know, morals is different than values. In business, you gotta take over, you take over.
Yeah.
Now, if you kill somebody, that's definitely not right.
Yeah.
But if I just know how to do something better than you do, it's called business.
Feel that.
It's just
Feel
like,
it.
you know, it's just like if you get that hot girl, she gets that hot dude. It's like, it's what it is. You know, can't get mad at it.
All right, everybody. I want to welcome you back to another episode of the Just Quit podcast. I'm your host, Darius Ricks, and today joining me is Mr. Curtis Harkness, marketing extraordinaire, amongst other things that we'll hear about today in depth.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, no, we got to get to
co-host, right? Yeah, co-host Curtis started a new podcast. I'm joking.
it. So, Curtis, just for the people that may not know you, if you can just tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are, and give us an intro of how you got into this space that you occupy, or the spaces that you occupy.
Yeah, no, thank you. First, I want to say thanks for having me on here. Love seeing where this has come. I saw the beginning of it, and
You gave me the idea.
I didn't give you the idea. That'd be inception. You thought of the idea. I just helped us think about it and think of a way to actually make the idea into a real thing. And a lot of people have ideas and don't actually do it. So I just want to say congratulations and honor you, man, for actually doing it. So excited to be here. But Curtis Harkness, and from Atlanta, but I say from America because I lived in 7 different places in America, all different, from Detroit to Louisiana to Atlanta, California to New York. So now in Miami, it's a country of its own. But excited to be here and in marketing, in branding, digital marketing, and events, experiential marketing. So been in that a while and excited to continue to grow in that here.
Thank you. So this episode is a little bit different than the others. All my guests previous to you, they're all have been founders, and that's how they got their ownership. But what I want people to understand about this podcast, it's not about just quitting your job and doing your own thing. It's all about ownership. So whether you leave and become a founder, or in your case, you earn the ability to gain equity in the company that you helped build, at the end of the day, whether you have 65%, 55%, or 2%, if you have some ownership, that's what's important. And that's what I want the people to know. And I think that you can give the audience a good perspective on another way to attain your true value and get ownership in a company that you help them build, right?
Yep.
So with that being said, when you hear the word ownership, like, what does that mean to you today compared to before you earn these positions or earn the value that you have now?
More work.
Okay. Can you expand on
means
that?
more work. People think I'm gonna own my own business. I don't want to work for nobody. I don't have anything. I won't make my own flexible hours. When you own something, you can do your best to make flexible hours until you get to a certain point. But most people who are owning something that doesn't have stock, they're working their butts off. It's more work than if I just clock into a job and clock out. And I think that's the part that a lot of people get misconstrued. It's like, oh, if I just work for myself. Yeah, work for yourself, but you really are never working for yourself, because even when you work for yourself, you're working for your client, you're working for your customer. That's who your boss is. And that's something I think when we talk about ownership, I think is more work, but also more responsibility. A lot of people don't want to work on a Saturday at 2 a.m. if a client's website goes down because they did something wrong. I have to, because the buck stops with me, because as an owner or as a leader in that ownership group, that is where it comes and responsibility falls on me.
Gotcha. So when was the moment you realized, like you said, you becoming an owner just meant more work? Did it hit you immediately, or did it kind of stack up over time and you realized like you're starting to drown in the work, or did it just kind of come gradually?
I mean, I've always worked. So for me, it wasn't drowning in work. It was just more understanding how to put that work in, how do I say it, in a way that I can optimize that work. because work is always going to be there. Whether if you work at McDonald's or if I own a business, then I'm going to work. The difference is now I had to set boundaries with that work to understand how to get it all done. But it didn't come all at once. It was a gradual thing, because even to get ownership, I had to do something of sales and work and go after. So doing that to get to that point, honestly, I still think it's the same amount of work. It's just now a different level of responsibility with that work, because now I have more people under me. I have more clients I have to take care of. It's same work though.
So when did you start seeing yourself as not just an employee, but someone that can take on that responsibility of being an owner?
I saw that before I became an owner. I saw that when I worked for my best friend's dad, God rest both of their souls, uh, was selling T-shirts at FAMU, at the college football games in high school and middle school. And it was, here's some shirts, go make money. So it wasn't like I was clocking in, clocking out. I was just got to go make money. And so to make the money, I had to own what I was doing. And so from then on, it was always, I'm going to own whatever I'm going to do. So I didn't see that as like, I got to do all this. Okay, now I don't need to do too much. I've always had that, like, I just want to be the best at what I'm going to do, because I knew if I did that, I was going to rise up, no matter my color, skin, religion, or whatever. If I'm the best value, they're going to put up what's making the most money in the value. And so that's where I took that on.
So you learned that at an early age, but you still kind of started off that path of the traditional route of finding of trying to find employment. Why was that? Like if you already knew what
Well,
the
I
answer
mean,
was.
I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew
Gotcha.
the work ethic, and I knew the responsibility I wanted to have. But I was in college, and I did 4 internships, and I was like, I need to do internships. Like, why you waste your time with internships? They don't pay a lot of money. Well, there's experience I can't gain if I'm just, working. We didn't have YouTube like it is now, but even then, I don't think you can get experience just from watching YouTube, just from reading what chat tells you. You actually got to go do it, like you're getting experience now.
Right. So what is it that you think is the biggest difference between a high performer and someone that deserves equity? Because you need to be a high performer to earn that equity. But what do you think is that real that line in the sand that separates the two?
Somebody who wants to actually be a part of it, right? Because a high earner or high performer is just performing high, right? They want to get paid high, and that's not a bad thing. But they don't always want ownership of something, and ownership comes with sacrifice. So a high performer, if they don't have that level of, I'm willing to sacrifice something for this, then I just want to perform well. There's nothing wrong. We need those, but usually they like to move on.
Right.
The person who wants to stay is like, first you say that to the person, to the company, but at the same time, it's, you understand, is there a route to that? And you start to work towards that route, not just perform at a high level.
So you segued into it perfectly for me. How do you align yourself onto that route, or how do you discover that route to ownership?
Well, I mean, it also depends on if you're working towards it. It depends on the company you're working with.
Mhm.
I don't know. You can work to be ownership of Google, but you can get stocks in Google.
Right.
But even then, it's like a lot of people jump job to job and don't realize that stock is a part of ownership. If you own stock, you own part of the company, right? And so it's different levels of ownership of, I have the responsibility of an owner of the big company, or I work my butt off and I get vested and I get a piece of it, and I can continue investing in it to become a bigger owner via stock. But that's one route. The other route is, if you're working for a startup and they know that, hey, we don't have a lot of resources right now, but it's growing, it's going to be very exciting. It's up to you to choose, do I want to be a part of this or not?
So what do you do, or how does someone prepare to get that equity that they're seeking? So it's a startup, their employee number, let's say 25, right? And the company's now grown to 125 people, and they've gotten their promotions and everything similar to that, but they still haven't gotten the equity that they're looking for. How do they leverage their experience and their high performance to get that equity?
Well, I would hope at that point before they've already talked to the owners. If you're employee number 25, you know the owners very well of the company. And if you know them, you would have said, hey, they would have probably given you a very generous package to get some kind of ownership as in stock or equity, small, but still. But it's, if you really want to be a part of it, hey, I want to really own a part of it. I hope you already explained it, because at some point, I don't say it's too late, but it's like they're close to being, if they're at 100 employees, they're probably close to another seed round, which means other investors are going to come in and take more equity of that. So it also depends on what your job is, right? You can be a sales and grow to that. Sales is a little bit easier, because if I hit 10 million in sales, yeah, you can either pay me my commission of $1 million, or I can, get more equity in the company. And sometimes they'll rather do that if you're somebody who seems serious. But at the same time, I will say this: just because you perform well, just because you want it, doesn't mean they're going to give you equity, because that's a level of trust, like I said before, of a high performer and a person who is taking the sacrifice to become the owner. Because equity is not easy to just hand it out.
Yeah. So
at that level, anyway.
Can you explain a little bit to the audience how you attained equity in 3-5 Creatives?
Yeah. So I was consulting at first, very small agency. And then when I came over, I say full time, it was around 2018. And then not even full time, still part time. But it was, hey, if you want this percentage, you have to hit this number in sales, right? I don't want to go to the full number. Let's just say it was at least $1 million. And so I had a certain timeline, had a certain amount. Now, during that time, COVID hits. So that stops a lot, right? At least what we thought. But then I pivoted and started to see what other ways we can make money, aka digital, but at the same time, live stream, coming up with new ideas to figure out how to land new clients. And from there, just networking my butt off. And it was God that brought in the right clients to be able to get to a certain level. And that took time servicing, but was able to hit that number and get the percentage that they said. But I've known this person, my business partner, for now almost, was it 2026, 10 years, so 18 years. So I've known him. So it was still easier to know him, and he knows me, and he's like, oh, I trust you. And I've done the work to get to that equity. But it's a mix. If I don't know the person, then I have to build trust with them. But that's what I was able to do. And even just knowing him doesn't matter, because there's a lot of people he knows, that don't have equity and aren't even part of the company. So that's it's a level of understanding, working hard, sacrifice, and building trust.
But you set that up before you even joined. You set that up as you were onboarding.
Yeah, well, I was talking about it because I was only helping as a consultant. And so as a consultant, it's like, you pay me, this is what I get. And you got to worry about nothing else. It's all on you. However, when I transitioned to actually, I want, that's how it was like, hey, I can't pay you a lot right now, but if we hit this, I can give you equity.
Oh, so he brought it up. He brought up, okay. Because one of the things I did want to know was, is there a way for someone that's watching to identify if the company that they want to pursue, or the company that they're at, is even open to giving that equity? Because like you said, a lot of people just aren't even open to opening that door.
I mean, and that's the thing though, when you work towards equity, and again, when I say equity, you can have equity in two different ways. You can have it in your vested package you get from being before a company gets bought out and goes public, or you can, like on this end, you work, and then they give you a percentage based on your package that you sign. I don't ever tell anybody go in and just work hard and do this and think you're going to get something. No, if you want to get equity in something and be like a managing partner or owner, you have to let that be known ahead of time, so they know that's the track you want. Now, sometimes that can be intimidating, but others, if you look at it, if you're going to be a lawyer, if you're, certain things, those are partners and managing partners in firms. Same thing with financial and all that. So you need to know, is this company small enough for me to get this equity? Or again, if you're going to be working, you're trying to get the CEO, your boy from Apple, he's stepping down, but he's got plenty of equity in Apple. And so, same thing with a lot of these other people who didn't start the company. They were employees. You can work your way to that, but you have to have that package. You have to have that understanding and that track in mind. Doesn't mean it's going to happen every time, but yeah, being upfront, talking to the company.
Okay. So let's say there's someone who's got a good, decent career. They're out of school, let's say 5 years. They're looking to make a transition from their mainstream company to a smaller startup, right? And they're in the final rounds of interviewing.
Mm-hmm.
What should they be preparing for that conversation going into these startups or these smaller firms to make sure they position themselves or have the right conversation to get equity as they go into that new company?
Let them know you're there for the long run. Because right now, I mean, people under 30, 38, 35, no offense, anybody under 35, they do not like to stay anywhere long. If it's not making them happy at this moment, I'm gone. I'm gonna find. There's more I can go do. There's something else, right? And that's unfortunate. But as a owner or people who run the company, they're like, I need to make sure you're gonna be here before I put you on the track to get something. Because if your passion is not, I'm here. I'm gonna what's that dude say? I'm gonna bleed and die. The guy he didn't actually, he bled. He almost died. He did not protect Jake May, but still, you have to let them know, like, I want to be here for a long term. I'm going to be here. I'm not leaving. I'm going to do whatever it takes. Now, that also can be told in your past work history. Do you have multiple different jobs? You job hop every 6 months, every year. But if they see, yeah, you worked hard, you worked your way up, you've been 5 years at this one job, it's just like, hey, I hit a ceiling. I can't grow here. I want to grow, but at the same time, like, this is what I believe in. I see your vision. And it's really knowing the company. Startups don't have the money to onboard a lot of different people. So if you're serious about it, do your research. Research the owners. Research the person as you're interviewing with, because usually it's only a couple people. So if you do your research, you understand them, then you'll know exactly what to speak to them. And they will see, wow, this person did their homework. Like, he actually knew that I like blue cheese on my salad. And it's like, I don't know, find something that you can connect with and build trust. And for them, that's like, wow, this person really did their work and they really took this serious. That plants the seed of trust. Then you got to work your butt off. But you can be, hey, I want to work for this company, would love it someday to be a part of the team of the ownership or executive level, because I see where I am. Now, you also have to understand, is your role going to take you to that position, right? If you're going to be a secretary or you're going to be an assistant, I'm not saying you can't grow from that, but you need to make sure I'm going to be an executive assistant. But what is my goal? What's my growth rate from an executive position? I'm going to be a programmer. Well, is a programmer going to be, is that going to be the growth platform or track I need to be to get to CEO? I'm going to be in marketing. Great. You can grow in marketing. I'm going to be in HR. You definitely can grow in HR, be in operations. So you have to figure out what is the track to get me where I want to go, to also be able to get to the high enough level that they want to offer me, real equity. Not if you're going to a startup, they're going to offer you equity because that's going to be the easiest way to get you to stay. But if you want that ownership, then it's going to be, what is the track? And you just got to figure it out.
Now, as they kind of put those breadcrumbs together to get on that trail, do they need to be worried about approaching the conversation delicately so they don't make them feel as if they are entitled or they're threatening someone's job or their livelihood, or they should just be direct in having a conversation?
I mean, you can be direct and you can be nice at the same time, but you can also be direct and you can be enthusiastic. Now, you don't tell the CEO, I want your job one day, but one day they're going to retire, or one day they're going to sell and they're going to do something, right? And it's depending on what it is. When I did my interview, it was so funny. I did an internship at Arby's, Wendy's Group at the time. Now they're ARG. I don't know. They got bought, 2 different companies. But when I did my interview, they said, what is your goal? I said, I want to be a chief marketing officer one day. They're like, oh, well, we met with the internship. I was like, well, I just want to let you know what I want to be. So for me, it's like, is this going to help me get to this? Because they also said, this internship doesn't pay a lot of money. You make more money in your other jobs right now. I said, yes, I'm willing to take the pay cut because I want to get the experience I need, and I'm here to work. To them, that was like, oh my gosh, I never heard anybody say this. Everybody only comes about the money. My goal was, this is my goal. I see a way to get there. And so much so that I ended up meeting with the CMO at the time, and he had never met with an intern. But what I was doing was I did the work of building out a marketing plan, working with every department to put together something that actually came out. That a lot of people ate, but working with them to come together to present a product, so much so, and it's so well done that the CMO was like, I'm going to meet with this young man, and got to meet with him for an hour and a half when my meeting time was only for 15 minutes. So it's showing the work you're going to put in, but also being direct with them in a way that's like inspiring. Like, hey, I'm here. Like, I'm here for the long run. I want to be a lifer with this company. I want to see this company grow. And so those types of words don't really come out of people's mouths when they come into an interview. But if you say it with like passion and inspiration, that doesn't do anything. But their startup, they need more passion. That's the reason why they did it. They want that passion.
All right. So how did you balance that risk of taking that upfront pay cut by taking the internship and still be able to see the long goal? Because sometimes, well, not sometimes, a lot of the time now, the reason why certain people don't make the decisions to give them leverage for equity or to jumpstart and actually take the idea and put it into motion is that fear that comes from the immediate loss of funds. Like, how did you look past that? I'm not going to be making $10 today. I'll be making $5, but I know if I do this, I can double that 10 in, let's say, a year.
Well, I got another job on the side. I mean, it's a bunch of jobs you can get part-time all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, no worry about the money. I got the time for this. It was only a certain amount of hours, but I'm like, I'll go work somewhere else to make up for this. But the experience in that was more valuable than the money. The other thing is I knew my budget. I don't spend a lot of money on clothes. I don't spend a lot of money on food. Now I do because you got to eat healthy. But still, even then, it's like being pretty smart. But I didn't have a car. I was like, I don't need a car right now. I took the train. I walked, took the bus. You know, you got to do what you got to do. And a lot of people don't want to be seen as like, oh my God, you on the bus? You on the train? Up until last year, June, I was still took Ubers here and there, but still taking the train, still taking the bus because I worked from home. I was like, I don't need extra money to spend. That money could go to savings or whatever you want to do with it. But I tell people sometimes you got to let go to convenience to get to where you want to go. And so if a car note was not what I needed to spend on, I didn't spend it. I talked to my dad. I said, hey, Dad, this is before I was married. I was like, hey, Dad, like, I'm trying to do this. Can I move home? I'll pay rent. Oh, no, you working? No, you good. You have a goal? My dad kicked this out, but he had to leave at 18. But he said, if you have a goal and a plan, you're working, you can come home and save your money if that's what you're doing. And so you make a plan, you know.
Where did you learn how to make the plan? Was it from just the upbringing that your parents instilled in you, or did you kind of learn it over time as you were in school? Like, how did you learn how to plan? Because that's a skill.
I learned from my parents, learned from grandparents, but really learned from school. When I only got $1,500 for the semester, you got to really learn how to spend that $1,500 because depending on work and everything else at school. And so, like we were talking earlier, laughing, I was like, I was doing really good budgeting. I got $15 for the week. Okay, well this is when, this is not even old, but this is when you could get deals. This is when McDonald's had a $1 menu. This is when ramen was 25 cents. And it was, okay, I can do this, I need this. What nutrition do I need? Okay, great. I want to go out. All right, cool. And I just realized, how can I make this money last and still have a good time? And it was college. That's why I think college is still very important, because that's when you learn how to become an adult if you don't already kind of have that built in.
Mm-hmm. So that taught you the financial aspect of planning. But when it comes to the mental aspect, how did you sharpen that skill? Did that come at the same time with the discipline of the financials, or did you start meditation after college? Like, how did you train your brain to help you think for the long run as well?
Well, to be honest, it was the Bible, Proverbs. It's all the different things in Proverbs, or what everybody else uses in the world for any other book that tells you about wisdom. Everything is based off of proverb. You can see it in Proverbs. And so the part of that really helped was understanding that certain things with wisdom. Don't go out and do this. Don't do these certain things. You should be focused on these certain values. And see, all the things in that really helped because mentor was like, pastor was like, read one proverb a day if you're going to college. So I did that. And then at the same time, it was just life, dude. Like, you learn. I got into debt quick. Even though my parents told me, don't get a credit card, don't do it. You live and you learn, right? And so I got credit card debt quick. And so then I had to work my way out of it. Once I worked my way out of it, I'm like, okay, now I understand what it takes, not just financial, but that impacts everything in your life. Relationships, your time in school, your jobs, your mental health, your psyche. So that's really where I learned it from, was life. But right now, with so many different tools and resources, it's kind of, I'm baffled that people don't take advantage of what they have right now, because we didn't have all that. I sound like my parents. We didn't have all that.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Back in my day, I had no phone.
So we talked about the beginning stages. We talked about how you made the transition to ownership and how you kind of you front loaded it, or you were predisposed to, hey, this is where I want to get to, and you work towards it. So now that you're current day, you're in that spot. You mentioned before you're doing a little bit of everything. You're an MC, you're a marketing executive, you're a teacher on your spare time as well. So now that you have all these things bubbling at the same time, what are you doing to bring it all together? Like, you're a professional who uses the brand, the visibility to create new ownership opportunities. Like, how would you best advise people to weave together all the things that they do well to make one cohesive machine?
I mean, I say make a list of what you do. You're the first person, actually, second person. But
I was about to say I was getting an exclusive. Yeah, go ahead.
You are getting exclusive, because the only people that know about it actually probably fourth. My wife, my friend Jay, who came in as AI,
yeah.
He helped build this out, and two other people close to me. But I put that all together now, my new brand called Lifestyle Network, and I'll share it with you. But it's where I started to see where's everything worked. It's all silos. And with the agency, I can't make money from something and pay through the agency. I got to on my own. But with the agency, I said, okay, this is I don't want to say my proof of concept, but this is how people say, okay, I trust him because he works in an agency that does this work and it's really good. So then I started teaching, right? Teaching is something I love to do. I get to help people. Now, it is also farming, because I realized this company's not big enough yet to make the money. Doesn't make enough money to pay my agency yet. So I need to teach them what they need to know, get them strong enough, get them making money, because then they're going to need an agency when they hit a certain level. They're already going to come back to the agency. That has happened. Now, that's one thing with the teaching, but the other part is I just want people to have the information. Everybody's talking about certain things, AI and this, but nobody actually teaching you how to use it really for business. They just teach you how to get in it. And then you just start paying all this money for credits while you have no idea what you're doing with it. But then the other part is my speaking. I was doing speaking before I was at the agency. I was always hosting, emceeing sporting events. I've been blessed to host 14 Super Bowls almost. I've been blessed to host college championships. Every major event you can think of, except for like the Oscars and ESPYs and World Cup, which praying I get to do some of that this year, I have done. And it's like, okay, how do I now leverage this with all of these things? Well, I'm also speaking when I teach. I'm also speaking when I'm at an agency, because I have to pitch, I have to market. And so learning how to, okay, what are my skills? What am I best at? And put them all together came up with Lifestyle Network. Now, that is something separate from the agency, but it's going to help the agency still, because all the people I get that want to do marketing or clients, I send right to the agency. And so it's building that. For me, it was building a funnel pipeline with all the things that I do. So no matter where I go, it's going to benefit every silo that I have. So that's how I look at it. So if you want to put all your things together, see if they all make sense. If I'm doing an agency and then I'm over here race car driving, might not work exactly, but you have to figure out, if I'm in marketing and I'm a race car driver, what can I do? Oh, I use the agency to get brands. And once I get brands for the race car, I then use the agency to execute what the brands want to do for their brand deals. So it's trying to figure out exactly how things work in that silo. It's just writing it all down. And if you want to get quick, put it in ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT, I do this, or Claude, or whatever you want. Perplexity, Gemini, I don't care the brand. And you ask it, these are 10 things that I do. I'm good at all of these. How do I make these all work together? Or even better, talk to your friends that know you, and they'll tell you, like, you're really not good at that, but you're really good at this. And if it's a true friend, they're going to be real with you, and hopefully you listen to them.
All right. So I can definitely see the parallels between what you just explained and kind of how I'm going according to my plan. But as you know, you can set the plan out, but all it is really just kind of just a loose guide of which direction you're going. The actual plan it'll unveil itself to you as you go.
Oh yeah.
Like as you go, right? So it's just like one of the things I'm working on now is just kind of understanding the difference, or just understanding my power and saying no. And understanding that just because I say no to this opportunity, I can't use a scarcity mindset to think that I'll never get another opportunity again. Because we talked about this before, how for me, it was I was saying yes to everything, and then my calendar got full, and then I was stressed out, right? But how would a young professional who's in this space as a new owner or owner trying to build, how do they determine what's the right opportunity or content to make or partnerships to take to keep building on that brand and understand what best aligns with their brand instead of what's just in front of me right now?
Well, what we did in the class you took, who's your brand for, right? It's like, what are your services? What are your services going to be? So if my brand is digital marketing and somebody's like, Curtis, I need help with finances, I'll pay you this. I'm like, well, that has nothing to do with the route I'm trying to go. I'm not trying to go in finances. I'm not trying to have nothing in my marketing. Or can I figure it out? Yes. But will that take more time away from where I'm trying to go? Yeah. So I can say no to that because it doesn't actually align with the pain points I'm trying to solve with the plan that I have set out. So if I'm in marketing, I'm speaking. Now, if they ask me, hey, I'm having a financial conference, can you come speak about marketing? 100%. Can you come speak about perseverance? 100%. Can you speak about motivation or transformation? Yes. Why? Because it still aligns with the speaking side of things. And what am I going to do? I'm going to talk about the agency. I'm going to talk about my experiences. I'm going to talk about that. That works. But if they want me to come in and do spreadsheets and opportunity like that, it doesn't align. So you have to stop and see, does this work with my brand? And will this represent me well? And will this put me where I need to be? Now, there's sometimes I will humble myself and go do a job that I'm like, I hadn't done it forever, right? And I'm below me or whatever people like to say. But at the same time, I realize like I can serve in this.
A
Let
job
me just
like
go help.
what, for example?
I mean, I don't want to say doing the work because everybody got to do the work. I don't even want to say the job because I don't even want anybody to get any connotation, but just doing something. Say you've gotten promoted to something, you go back and do what you got promoted from. Not saying because it's below you or beneath you, but I'm promoted, so this is what I got to do now. But I go back and I sweep the floors or something because that's what it is, or whatever your below the step below was. But when I have done that, and I'm like, okay, I'll take this role that I've already done and really graduated from, but I'm gonna go back and be humble. Every time I've done that, really, for me, it's like God, Holy Spirit, it's like guiding me. It's like I go back and do that. I'm put in a different place. That then the person that I needed to meet actually shows up that I wouldn't have been able to meet before, but they're there now, and they're like, oh, what do you do, or how are you? And then they find out, oh, I'm doing this, but this is not what I normally do. Serving. That automatically has propelled me into other rooms. But that really only works if I'm genuine. And even though I did something that I graduated from, it's still within my silos. Just say events. If I'm hosting an event and I'm go down to just being the guy opening the door, I actually meet more people opening the door than just hosting an event.
Yeah.
So if God tells me to do that, great, I'll open the door. At some point in time, my natural ability is going to come out, my natural charisma and personality. And that's how I even got promoted to hosting in the first place. And so, you don't do it all the time, but I sometimes it's like you got to go backwards, go forward. And you have to figure out when that is, because sometimes you don't. Sometimes like, I can make more money. It's like, but that's going to take away from the time you need to go do the other stuff that might not make you money now, but you're planting seeds. So it's really it's a fine line of figuring out, is this me being humble and it's going to help me down the road, or is this me, I'm trying to make money and I don't trust my own process that I set up.
Yeah, like I'm definitely in that right now, just finding the sweet balance between the visibility, let's say, of doing the podcast, which is not my norm, compared to the execution, which is behind the scenes, which is where I feel perfectly comfortable. And that's what people know me as an operator. But it's me understanding there's a line, and it's not balance, because balance means something is set. It's balancing to where I have to shift the weight from front to back and back to front to understand sometimes I need to be seen, and just, you're doing work when you're seen as well, but sometimes you don't need to be seen and get the work done. And it's kind of like, if there's anything you can speak to on that outside of listening to that voice in your head, which is God, to give you that guidance, like what else can you do to help with that balance in that?
I mean, I look at, I'm serving the greater picture of where I'm trying to go, right? It's like, even going back to opening the door, nobody's gonna really, they see you, but they really don't see you, just opening the door, welcoming them. And when I'm on stage, you see me, I'm in front of everybody, but sometimes I do need to go and just open that door, and it's okay. And I have to be okay with it, because it might be, I have to get that done. Because if I'm over the event now and I'm hosting and I've done more, sometimes I gotta go in the back and I gotta take the trash out really quick because I don't have the budget for that. Sometimes I gotta, in the marketing, I gotta do the audits because the team is busy on something else. Okay, let me step in and do nobody sees that part. They see you teaching, they see you on stage. They don't see you making the spreadsheets and doing the designs and building everything out because the team is busy, or the team is off and I need to get something done and I don't want to bother them. So it's that fine line, like you said. It's not a balanced. There's no such thing as balance, because something's going to come and unbalance the scale. But it's more like you said. I like what you said, is putting pressure on which side, and just being fluid enough to understand that is going to help guide you through that. Because if I don't, be honest, if I don't hear God, or like, and I say hear, but more like feel that the thought and understand, like, this is where you go, I always go back to, okay, well, this is the plan. Like you said, make that plan. Okay, as long as I'm following the plan I made, it's going to go that route. So if it says I need to go and I need to make spreadsheets, I'll go make spreadsheets. Nobody's going to see that. So if I got to step back on stage and kick butt, I'll step back on stage and kick butt. It's just really taking the pride out of it.
Would you say that's what really separates the people that romanticize entrepreneurship and ownership from the people that actually get it and understand it and do it? Is it that, not lack of pride, but putting the end result before their initial desire or want to actually get it done?
Yeah, I mean, we're not successful yet. I don't think we're successful yet. I don't even think people who are wealthy think they're successful, because they always want more. But at the same time, it's like, I realize that if you don't want it bad enough to go do it, there's a difference between people who want to be an entrepreneur and people who are an entrepreneur, and then people who are successful at entrepreneurship. Because it's cool to be an entrepreneur right now. So much fun. Oh, I'm an entrepreneur. I work for myself. I got my own business. Oh, wow, really? What's the marketing, it's the social media look right now?
So you put it on 3 levels, and I never thought about this. So you said the people that want to be an entrepreneur,
yep,
and the people that are entrepreneurs.
Yep.
And you took it another step between the people that are successful entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So let's say accountability ownership is the difference between a wannabe and entrepreneur. 100%. What's the difference between an entrepreneur and a successful entrepreneur?
Sacrifice, vision, and your team. because you'll sacrifice to be an entrepreneur, but there's another level of sacrifice you got to do. You need a vision, right? You have a vision to be an entrepreneur, but to grow and be successful, to be outside of you just doing the work, you need to have a vision. And then to get to being successful, you can't do it on your own. You need a team. Mm-hmm. And that's the part I think a lot of people think I can use AI and I can use VAs and all. You can't. Like you can on some, but depending on what you're trying to be successful in. But most people, you want to build a business that's successful, they have a great team. You look at any of these billion, $1 trillion companies, they all were startups. They had great teams. Now, that doesn't mean everybody stayed there, but they had to have vision, they had to make sacrifice, and they had to have great teams.
And this is from the man that teaches the AI marketing course.
Well, I don't teach that AI solves all the problems. I don't also teach that AI is the problem. I teach that you need to understand AI to use it in a way that's going to help, because AI cannot replace every human, because we want connection. And like I said in class, people are posting on, it's so funny because now I'm not the only one yelling it. Other people who aren't even in AI are saying, stop posting AI pictures. It's okay if you post it, stop doing the regular AI. We know you don't speak like that. Like I had my employees send me something. I was like, I don't sound like this. This is no, like I was like, I don't mind AI for ideas. I don't mind AI to help me refine, because I don't have the best writing skills, but that don't sound like me.
But AI just for AI's sake is a little bit much.
Well, because people don't know. It's like if I put you behind a Ferrari, you don't know how to drive stick, you don't know how to drive manual. What you gonna? You gonna break the car because you're still in Ferrari. But you can use just like everybody else who doesn't know how to use it. But if you know how to use it, you know how to curve, you can drive that thing and, do whatever you need to do. But that's the difference. AI is AI, but if you don't really know how to use it and leverage it, and again, if you don't know your role, because if you're a designer and I'm a normal person, a designer can get AI to create a masterpiece. A regular person can get AI to make a picture. It's just like paint in a canvas. Paint is paint. It's going to be itself. But if I know how to paint and use the paint, then I can express more with the paint than a person who just doesn't know. Even though Art Basel will say different, because there's random art. Let me stop. I see some non-skilled $1 million painting. Let me stop.
Hey, sometimes it's the inner child that speaks.
Stop playing, dog. Don't play that. Sometimes it's a rich person and they need to do something with their money.
Finesse is finesse. So, you touched on it a little bit already, but in your, let's say your first 12 months after you earn that new position or earn that equity in that ownership, and you took on that new position as chief marketing officer, right, for 3-5. What is 1, 2, or maybe 3 things that you learned in that seat with that new pressure that you wouldn't have learned otherwise?
I don't know everything. Number 1. Number 2, I wasn't organized enough, because that's a different level now. And then number 3, it's going to take way more work. Like once you step into that role, it's people are like, well, I just want a paycheck. It's a lot more work. And it's going to take that organization level to go up higher so I can handle and put that work where it needs to go to get it done in the right time it's supposed to get done.
How do you best prepare yourself day in and day out to perform at that level?
That's something I had to learn, because my business partner was much better at it than me, because he'd been doing it for so long. He's also a director, like TV shows, movies, plays. So his mind automatically is a silo. Like this is you, this is what you're going to do, this is what you're going to say, and you're going to do this because this works together, and you're going to do this because that. Now, my brain is like, not like that at all. My brain is like, we're getting this done. Let's get this done. Let's get this done. What is it that
you did to fix your brain and fix your body to get there? Was it eating right? Was it exercise? Was it reading the right books? Like, what were the things that you put in to get the end result that you're looking for? That consistency day in and day out.
Yeah, well, I'll say this: consistency can go up in seasons sometimes. So I never act like I do this every day. I'm perfect. There's some people who can. More power to them. But for me, the first thing was writing things down, right? Writing it down in a way that, what do I have to do today? What do I have to do tomorrow? And what do I need to do the rest of the week? So the first thing was getting scheduled. If I don't schedule it, and I heard this from a really good mentor, if I don't schedule it, it's not important. So even my date night with my wife, Fridays are date night. Saturday is my Sabbath now. I'm taking a Sabbath because my life coach slash therapist, excuse me, helped me understand that I'm not, what everybody believes in, it's up to you, but I'm not better than a God where I don't need to rest. And so like, I need to take a Sabbath, right? And that doesn't mean I don't do anything. It just means I don't do any work for my job. But to get to Sabbath, and this is where I had to start doing, which was also scheduling and just getting things done, was I need to get everything done I needed to get done that week so I can actually take the Sabbath. Because a lot of times anxiety only comes from if you don't do what you're supposed to do in the allotted time you had. And I love procrastination. I don't love it. I don't love it. But procrastination loves me, and for some reason I court it. And so the problem with that is procrastination boils down to a fear of something. And so what is that fear that is holding me back and causing me to procrastinate? Because if I do that work now, I can rest later. But a lot of times it's more like, well, I kind of just got to do some other stuff. And that's where putting the things down on the calendar, what are my priorities? This is what I need to do, and walk you through. And then if something comes in, building the boundaries of, that's important, I need to do that right now. That's not important, I'll get to that in a minute. But making sure every employee feels like they're important. Hey, I understand, but I need to get this done first, then I can come and help you. Or this is down, let's work on this. And so that's the part that I think helped me, was scheduling, working on my mental understanding of like, okay, what am I afraid of? What's my problems? Because you can't tell it all. And then the other part, the books I read was Bible, for sure. Proverbs was the number one thing. But then I started reading about the kings in the Bible. You can read different things, but you start to see like there's a lot of things a king deals with. How do they put it in order? How do they, get things in order? And so those are, look, what traits were good for the good kings, and then looking at what did the bad ones do that were bad, and it's like, okay, yeah, let me not do that, but I need to look at this, because that's how I learn from other people's mistake. I try not to make that mistake if I don't have to.
Okay, so I kind of wanted to shift gears a little bit, and you mentioned at one point you should do kind of like a self audit, like ask your friends, like when you're building your businesses and weaving them together, ask your friends what you're good at or what you can do better to assess what you should be doing, right? What are some of the questions you should ask yourself or ask those close to you when you're building that business or looking to make this life change, to see if you're making the right decision or going along the right path?
So I'd say if you're married, first you ask your partner, because they know you better than everybody else. If you have a good relationship with your parents, ask your parents, right? For me, it was more asking my dad on certain things. Not that my mom didn't know, but my mom knew me in different ways. And so she was able to affirm things earlier on in me. But with my dad, my wife, but even before my wife, it was my best friends, true friends, not people you see once in a while. But even if you don't see them in a while, you've been through enough that they know you, right? And so we only have a few. And so asking those friends, hey, I'm thinking about this business, and this is what I would like to do. What do you think? Is this something that I would be good at? If they're a true friend, they're going to A, give you positivity, encouragement, but B, go, you're good, but bro, you don't like numbers. So you might be good at this part, but best thing to do is probably look at getting somebody who's good at numbers, because you don't like it, or you got to get better at numbers. And so I think having that real friendship is going to help you, because if not, you'll get the friends like, oh my God, you can do it, bro. Or come on, girl, you got it. You got everything. There's no thing as you are not perfect where you are right now. We are not. We are good, but we need to improve. And so if your friends tell you you're perfect, stay the way you are, they're really not your friend, because they're not telling you the truth.
So talk about perfection or the lack thereof.
Mm-hmm.
What's one of the early mistakes you made as an owner, as a leader, that really kind of set the foundation to where you are today?
Not delegating.
That's a mistake you did make.
Did make. Not delegating. If I delegated, I would have been much further along. But before delegation, it's also not getting the right team, right? I had the chance to hire some people, and they were good, but I didn't go a little bit deeper, and it ended up costing the company money. Not in a negative
Deeper
way.
in what way?
Personality of like where do they really wanted to go in the business,
Gotcha.
what they really wanted to do, and what was their true like work ethic. They worked hard, they were cool people, but they weren't really caring about the long-term goal of the company. And so for them, it was like, I need to get paid. I need to get more. I get more. I get more. And I was like, oh, you got to keep this good employee. And I should have not kept that employee. Nothing wrong with that person, but I should have let that person go when they got to the point of being too expensive for the role that they were in. And there's nothing wrong with that. You have to be upfront as a business owner, but let him know, hey, you don't have any more room to grow here, at least right now. So it's either you wait another couple of years when we grow, or even a year, you never know how fast you grow, or, I'll write you the best recommendation letter to go somewhere else so you can continue to grow. Because I don't want to hold on to somebody if it's going to hold you back just because it's my benefit. So that's what I learned, is to let people go, be where they need to be. If they need to be with me, they'll be with me, and then I can delegate. If they don't need to be with me, I need to let them go, and they can go be them wherever they're supposed to be.
Okay, so stay along that same vein, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say Monday you realize, dang, I kept this person longer than I should have. It's really been hurting me for the past 6 to 9 months. You take that blow on Monday. On Tuesday, you go into a negotiation and you overprice the bid, you lose that bid. Wednesday, let's say one of your biggest marketing campaigns, they don't auto renew the contract, they go somewhere else. Mm-hmm. So you taking 3 L's in a row. Thursday, you're down. Now what? Like, what do you do, or what have you learned to help you bounce back and rebound from taking those L's to get you back on the right track? Because it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to happen, and the craziest thing is that has happened before. Client cancel, person quits, not even hold too long. Person quits, and quits randomly, and so once you start to realize that, oh, bad things are going to happen, but good things are going to happen, I don't put my identity in the good things or the negative things that happen. So if we lose a person, you just have to spread the work out. You got to figure it out. That's when you have to roll up your sleeves as the owner, and you got to do what you got to do, because hopefully you know how to do every person's job or close to it. At least that's under you. And then the second part, which was what you said, we lost a campaign. You hope you've been selling. Like, I'm still selling, planting seeds. One person drops, another person is going to step up at some point in time. What was the third thing you said?
It was the investing in the wrong person, losing the deal, and then
overpricing the bid. I know my worth. Our worth is our worth. If somebody doesn't want to pay it, you can only discount so much until you start losing money.
Right.
And I started to look at Apple ain't discounting. People still buying iPhones.
Louis Vuitton not discounting.
Louis Vuitton's not discounting. Nike's not discounting. Lamborghini, Ferrari, and all these brands started from nothing. But they realized this is our value. This is our worth. If my brand is strong enough, that's what I teach. If your brand image is strong enough, the value is going to be there. And people who really want to work with you will pay the money because they know what they're going to get. If you don't want to pay the money, I don't even like to say lost. We have not won a bunch of contracts because of, oh, can you guys go a little bit lower? No, we can't, because I'm not going to make any money. Well, if you don't get this, you won't have any money. Like, no, we have other money. And there's times where I didn't have any other money, but I'm like, why would I lose money to not make money just so I can feel like I'm making money? Yeah. And so that was a tough thing to get to, because at one point we were like, oh yeah, we'll do it. Okay, anything. Yeah. Okay. $500. You can't make no money on under $3,000, $2,000, not real money. So, we for at least for our services and with employees, it's other people you have to think about. I'm just not thinking about myself. They have livelihoods. And so my job as an owner of marketing, whatever, is to make sure these people have jobs that pay for their livelihoods. And that's the other part.
So you kind of touched on it, understanding where the employee wants to go in the business and their buy-in helps you understand who to invest in as an employee. One thing that I'm working on, and I've since kind of jumped that hurdle since the class, was finding the right partners for my partnerships. How do you find a good partner, or identify the characteristics that would make up a good business partner?
I think you have to have shared morals and values. Just because the person's really good doesn't mean you guys are going to vibe. And I'm not saying vibe like, yeah, we're bros. Like vibe as in, this is something we can do legal or illegal. Both will get us to where we go, but the illegal will get us there faster with potential problems. Legal will get us there, but it takes longer. If you're not on the same, I would always do the legal because I don't like illegal. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to get in trouble. But if you and your partner aren't on the same page and you guys are beefing on which road to take, that will cause more problems and cause you from actually getting to the other side. So trying to find a person with the same morals and values as you, and then somebody who's driven like you, but different. You don't want the same person. You do not want you copied twice, because you will not get anywhere if it's just you. You want people that complement you. So if you're not smart at tech and this person's smart at tech, but you're the best designer and you can create everything, it works perfectly, because then you guys can mesh well. So looking at what partners bring what to the table and who's going to stay there the longest.
So you personally, do you have any non-negotiables when it comes to business partners? And if it's a long list, you could just narrow it down to like your top three.
It's not a long list. I'll be honest, a lot of times for me, it's your morals and values, right? I'm a Christian. You don't have to be a Christian, but your values have to align with treating others right? Serving in that realm. The other part of it is people who are okay with not making the money right now, but know there's a bigger payday to come, and good working hard towards that. That's a lot of people aren't. They want money right now, and sometimes it's like understanding that money doesn't come right now, but if you have the right vision and plan, it can get there.
Gotcha. So transitioning into understanding yourself and the entrepreneurship checklist, right? What you want to have or what you should have before you make this leap into being an owner or starting your own business. What do people really need to understand about their true capacity and their discipline when it comes to being, like you said, a successful entrepreneur?
Yeah. If you're not successful at your current job, you're not going to be successful as an entrepreneur. As in, like, when I mean successful, like if you're not successfully going in and kicking butt and having that time to understand, like, I don't want to keep doing this, or I want to keep doing this in a better way and I want to do it for myself, you are doing really well at it. If you're sucking at your job, I don't, and it's not because the job is bad, it's because you're not doing what it takes. And that's honestly the truth that a lot of people don't understand, is your job is a startup that has grown. So if you want to start a business, but you can't be a good employee and do everything that you're supposed to do in that job, what makes you think that you can start a new company without any of the hard work and understanding of the systems that this company has put together, that you're just going to magically start a new company and I'm going to use AI, I'm going to use VAs. You don't even know the systems to build. So if you're not doing well, as in like doing your best, and you like, I hate saying doing your best, not hate, but like, if you're not doing what you need to do at the job to be successful, 9 times out of 10, what I've seen, You're going to start a job just to start it because you think it's fun. You think you want to work for yourself, and you're going to quit that, and you're going to complain about that, and you're going to realize you have to go make the money. There's no paycheck coming. If you don't make it, you don't get paid. And so that's where I think if you're not being successful in a place that's already set up for success because they're a business, you're not going to be able to create a business to be set up for success. I'm not saying you can't, but I don't see it because you don't have the discipline, you don't have the understanding, and you don't have the standard of excellence in that same job to then put it to work for yourself.
So you kind of touched on it. I'm definitely digging a little deeper, but like the undertone of what you were just saying is good habits, bad habits, right?
100%.
So for you, you're in marketing.
Mm-hmm.
What people don't understand when it comes to a marketing agency, when you let them in that door, they are a part of your company now.
Mm-hmm.
They are fully in the DNA of what will make you successful and what will get you out of the slump that you're in, right? Yeah. So in that same vein, what have you seen from whether it be your company or the clients that you've had that have helped those entrepreneurs and businesses be successful when it comes to good habits, and the ones that you've seen to where even though you give them this help and this stimulus package of marketing, they still are not successful in those bad habits?
Yeah, we work with a lot of entrepreneurs. Most of about 60% of our clients are entrepreneurs. That we speak to, every client is an entrepreneur. Every business was started by an entrepreneur. So we have to get out of this mindset that this is a big business. At one point, they were an entrepreneur business. So in the marketing, what I've done is we go and we help you. We do what we got to do. But there's things that you have to do as a business owner. You have to know your vision. You have to put in your work, get your operations tight. You have to have, if we are not doing all of your marketing, and I'm doing a part of it, you have to have everything else popping because I can only do so much. And that's one thing that is a misconception of, you do paid ads, I'm not making any money. Yeah, because your branding is horrible and you didn't want us to fix your branding. We've learned that lesson so much so that we won't take on a client who is bad branding now. You don't post on your social media consistently, and if you do, you don't have a strategy. Who is your target audience? All these things that I was teaching in that class, we grade our clients and our future clients. And if you don't have that, I don't care how much money you have. It's going to fail because I won't be able to get over that you don't have a brand. And if you don't have a brand, people aren't going to buy it. So that's where we've seen that if we give you the help that you need and you're also working along with us, you're going to be successful. There's people that took that course that you took last year that I taught that were in the same room as you. And what are they doing with that work and all the stuff I taught them? Nothing. And there's other people like you, I'm going to shout her out, Darlena. You guys have not only started a podcast, you bought a business, you've grown. Darlena has 10x'd her business of understanding who you're actually going after, but it takes work. So I pose the question to you. How did you take the information you learned and turn it into that? You worked. You realize that I got to take action. And I have to understand that I do the work to get the strategy. I do the work to understand how to implement it. And then I got to go take action.
So the secret sauce is just work.
There's always work. Nothing happens without work. I mean, don't what you believe in, God still did work. He didn't use his hands. He just spoke it. He God, but still, he had to do it.
So before we transition into Quit Happens, one of the best segments in podcasts, even though it's only 2 episodes in.
There we go. More than 0 episodes.
Who you telling? When it comes to marketing, you talked about it a little bit, just branding, right? How does someone who doesn't really speak, I don't want to say doesn't speak highly of themselves, but doesn't put themselves in the limelight or doesn't have a fortified brand, how would they start today to build towards that brand?
I mean, first it depends on what's their product or service. If you know your product or service, then you can go from there. If you know that, hey, I'm going to be a videographer, I'm going to record. Okay, well, your brand, right, needs to say, okay, who's my client? Anybody that records, not your client. But if I'm going to be in corporate, Well, if you're going to be in corporate, then your brand has to be you, but it needs to speak to people that you're going to be going after. And a lot of people say, no, I need to be myself. I want to be my brand. That's great, but your brand is going to be your first impression. And if your first impression is as a corporate person, or if you're, I don't know, depending on music, this person doesn't know any. If you're too corporate and you go to a music creative person and go, I don't think they know how to do what I need them to do, or vice versa. Like, we don't want hippie. We kind of want like, look, not saying that you can't do that, but it's understanding who your target audience is, who my client is, and then what are my values? If your values are trust and hard work or whatever your values are, then you can build your brand around that, because the picture of it is great. Your logo is very important, but great. But what you say and do is even more important. And that's what really builds your brand, because people are going to see and read reviews. They're going to work with you, they're going to talk to you. And if you are not a person that backs up what you say you're going to do, then your brand is not going to work.
Understood. So, like I said before, we've gotten to our segment. Quit happens.
Quit happens.
And the point of this segment is to really voice those thoughts that you have in your head that you never say out loud, or those thoughts and conversations that only happen in the group chat. Because, you know, they're not PC or it's not safe to say, but I would love for you to give some of these answers to the people to help frame their perspective, right? So the first question I have for you is, and I think it'll be interesting, your answer, because you're technically on both sides. Who lies more, the employers or the entrepreneurs? So the employers preaching stability and family and all that stuff, or the entrepreneurs that are preaching freedom and making your own schedule and all those things. Who do you think is lying
When you
more?
say who, you mean online or you mean just in general?
In general, online,
because
in person.
I don't think it's a lie. There is stability if I go work at a big company, because they have more money, they have more resources, they have 401ks, social security, you know, health insurance. There is stability until there isn't. They can't guarantee anything. They don't guarantee stability. They just say, if you work for me, you'll be stable, which you will be, because you got a check every week. You know what's just coming. That's stability. Now, as an entrepreneur, there is freedom. You can do whatever you want. Doesn't mean you're going to make money and be successful, but there's freedom in it. So I don't think it's a lie. What I think where the lie comes in is the employee and the person starting to be an entrepreneur. They're lying to themselves to say, this will never end. They'll always got my back. And no company's ever said that unless you own it. But even if you own it, AKA Steve Jobs got kicked out of his own company. So you never have any kind of guarantee. The lie comes in when the employee is telling themselves, the employer got me. Like, they got me. They got you until it's not good for their business. That's how their business. And the other lie is for the person looking to be an entrepreneur. I'm on a flexible schedule, get all the rest. I get to have my work-life balance. There's no such thing, because your life could come so important that your work suffers, or your work can get so important your life suffers. I don't say suffer, but sometimes you have to put the priorities, and that's life, which if you want to be successful, you need to understand. But I don't think they lie. I think the people that are working at those companies, or the people looking to be an entrepreneur, lie to themselves. And the real lie, I do believe, and I know what you're saying, comes in the marketing of things. And it's not so much the big companies, it's more the entrepreneur online, to make it seem like it's easy. That's the lie. It's easy. Everybody can do it. No, it's not easy, because if it was, everybody would do it. And so that's the lie for me.
So speaking online, right? The one that gets me is the short, reel, whatever you want to call it, to where it'll show whatever business, right?
Yeah.
It'll be pressure. I'm saying it because I've seen it. It's pressure washing garbage cans, or it's buying the bounce house, or it's getting a snow cone machine. Yeah, you just buy X, you get 100 sales. Now you got $100,000 every week.
Yeah.
Do that 52 weeks in a row. And it's just like, bruh, how do you go from point A to point B?
Come to my Podcast, not podcast. You got to buy my series
Yeah.
and then tell you how to do it.
You got to buy the book. But then when you buy the book, you also got to buy the plane ticket to the retreat.
No. If you want to be successful, you'll buy the book. But if you really wanted to 10x that success, then you'll join this group. And then if you really want to, you need to be in the room with the right people, then you'll pay $50,000. Now, I don't think that is bad if you actually have value. That's the same thing as college. Totally. But if you don't really provide value, and I've done those things before. Oh yeah, word, e-commerce, let's do it. Got burned really bad. And so now when I do mine, people are like, Curtis, you can make a course, you can sell a course, you can do it. I'm like, guys, if my course is going to be very watered down like everybody else's course, I don't want to do it. If you have to take another cohort for marketing or business after my cohort, I don't want to do it. So that's why even with the one I taught, like I don't know if anybody ever teaches like that. All the courses I've been in don't really teach that way. It's more like, you think about it, you could do it. And I'm like, yo, are you really doing this or not? And so for me, that lie of building all of it out is not good, because there are some courses that are good for, you can do this. This is buy my book and I'll show you how to do it. It's college. Come to the event, you'll get even more information. And if you come to the seminar, you can be one-on-one and I can guide you through it. There's some people that actually do that very well and they actually can be successful. But 95% of them are all fake and they're all just to make money. And that's how that person makes their money. And I actually had a friend reach out to me and tell me, Curtis, I'm working with this company. They do this whole thing, but they don't know how to execute. They don't execute the marketing for them. Can you do the execution? And that's what I saw, that when we do ours, because I will launch something like that, we will do the execution because they give you all the information, they don't execute for you. And so now it's like, I'm going to get you there and now I can help you with the execution. And that's the part I think is the difference of that lie, which is funny.
So next up,
yep.
What's the most overrated career advice you got?
Overrated career advice? Work-life balance. Because if you have a baby, you're going to be more life than work. If you just got investment, you're going to be more work than life. But understanding that that's going to happen, and if you have a good partner and you guys talk about it, then you can understand how to guide yourself through that, where my number one is always going to be my family. But sometimes to work, to provide, I have to do more work. And that's going to just have to be how it is, right? But you still have your priorities. I'm still going to have date nights planned. I'm going to still be, like my dad did with us. He said, hey, I'm not going to be home every day, like at a certain time. He was home every day, thank God he came back. He came back from the store getting milk that we didn't drink. But he said, I'm going to at least coach one little league for you. So you pick your sport. I'm going to coach one season for you. So he literally made time throughout the year to say, okay, when you hit this age, what sport? I will coach it for you. And he coached the sport. And so that was something that spoke to me, because he worked a lot, but he still made time to say, I'm going to be here at this time. And then, that for me is the biggest lie, is there's a work-life balance. There's a work life that we have to balance. And it's balancing as you put more pressure on this left one, put more pressure on that. I don't know if you've ever been on that little board.
Yeah.
That's an athlete thing. And you realize it's an offensive defense. Sometimes I'm going to be way more offensive than I am defensive.
Okay. And the final one, what's worse, staying too long at the job or quitting the job too early?
Ooh. Quitting job too early.
Why is that?
I think if you quit too early, your money is out, and now you just have to figure something out. And sometimes you haven't learned what you need to learn. I think if you stay at a job too long, that is very subjective, as in, if you stay at a job long enough, you're going to continue to learn something, depending on the job. But if you say, I stayed there too long, what did that time actually take from you, right? So that's something. But it can kind of go both ways. Some people like, I'm so glad I quit right away and was able to do that. That's great. But some people quit and have no plan. You don't always have to quit your job to go start a business. I tell people, work that 9 to 5, work your butt off and get that other, start your business, use their money to fund your business.
That's me.
Why would I use my own money? Like, they don't use their own money.
Yeah.
Heck no, I'm gonna work for you, get my money. I'm also gonna learn. I'm gonna get all my experience. I'm gonna get make contacts. You can do a lot more when you have an agency or a company.
Another one of those things that that's really prevalent online, that it's one of those buzzwords that I'm starting to hate it now.
Well,
use your current job as your investor for your future business. I hate it. It's true, but it's just like, it's said so much. It's just like, all right, I get it.
Because it's only being said because people don't do it.
But I feel like, you're right.
People quit or they just don't start the business. They just work. And it's like, you know, because it's not easy. I don't have enough time. My time for myself. Like, you have to make your time. So, but you know, that's life.
So I want to start bringing this towards a close.
Let's do it.
Got a couple quick hitters for you.
Hit it.
So what do you want people to stop believing about entrepreneurship?
That it's easy.
Okay. What do you want people to start believing about their own experience?
It's important to a point.
What does success look like now since you've experienced different forms of ownership?
Success now will be when I'm able to, I don't want to say take a vacation whenever I want to, because I can now, but success is where I'm able to help other people start businesses. So that means I'm able to invest money into them, and I'm also able to help people in need without having to, like, we already give now, but it's like, okay, I'm going to be able to like give. Like, oh, you need to go to school. Here's $25,000 in a scholarship fund. That to me is success, because if I can pay for somebody's school, their dream, that's going to be way more than buying a Bentley or a Lamborghini. Nice cars, I don't want them, but if I can pay for somebody's school, great. Now, if I can do both, even better. But if I can buy a Bentley, I can probably donate more of that to more.
What is one value or principle you think an aspiring entrepreneur or new entrepreneur should have or should develop?
Serve. Serve without wanting anything in return. Because if you can serve, especially if whatever your business is, people are going to pay you. Because of course you got to charge, but it's like when you're just starting out, nobody owes you anything. Nobody knows you. But if you serve, you go help, people will want to give you stuff. And that's honestly how it happened with me.
What's one thing a person can do, not this month, not this week, right now, today, to start working their way towards ownership or entrepreneurship?
Buy my course at 759. Thanks for the layup, buddy. The alley-oop. No, something they can do right now. Honestly, research the business you want to go in and see who's successful and try to get a meeting with them, with somebody in their company via LinkedIn, just to chat. Don't tell them you're starting that business that might be like theirs. Hey man, I'm just intrigued, would love to just chat and learn more about you. Or find out who they are and then chat GPT, their gaps and figure out how you can fill those gaps. That's another round.
What's one conversation or experience that you had that changed how you look at business?
Had a conversation with a CMO of a really major company, and it was really early in my career. And he told me that they were going to offer me a job because I was doing another internship. They were going to offer me a job, and I said, "Oh man, okay, I'm so excited." And he told me, "Don't take it." I said, "Bro, it's a recession. Like, you're going to give me a job. I need a job." And what he told me was, "What I see in you, you will not thrive in this job. You'll do well, he said, but you will not thrive. And I'd rather you not take this job and go to a different route, because you'll get where you want to go. And I'm not even gonna lie, I thought that was the dumbest thing ever. I was like, bro, I'm about to take this job no matter what. But he knew something that was happening before anybody else in that world, in that realm. And thank God I listened, and it worked out. But that one advice was, he was going to offer me a job, but this is why it's good to have people who see you, know you. He said, this is not the role for you. And so I listened. If I hadn't, I would not be here right now. So.
And you knew to listen. Why?
That was the God. God was like, yep. I prayed about it, and I was like, I don't know if this is from you though, but I was like, this might be from this dude. And it was like, it was a piece. It was like, nope, just don't take it. And I didn't. And I literally, the day I finished that internship, it was 2 days after I graduated, I got a call from a company to do something for work that was what I really wanted to do. And that put me on a trajectory that I wanted to be an international businessman. And it's like, I want to work international. And I had this whole goal. Got to work 5 years, go back, get a dual MBA, got an international MBA. Georgia State already had the whole plan out. And I was going to start with that job because they did tuition assistance and they were partners with my school and all this. And so when I didn't take it, this role came up within 2 years. What I thought was going to take 7 or 8, and me learning 2-3 languages like really well. In 2 years, I went from doing the job that I took out that I got after college to traveling 25 countries with this other job that job I took that led to that. And that was only because that was God. So I was like, okay, I had to listen, because if I hadn't, I would have never traveled the world like I did.
So this is a good one to go into this next question, because a lot of it, and I try not to say it to certain people or say it to people in general, because they look at you crazy. Because for me, I had a plan, but I didn't. It's very loose.
Yeah.
It's just like, you say faith and people look at you crazy like, nah, I can't listen anymore, right? So that being said, finish this sentence. You're ready for entrepreneurship when?
I need a second for that. You're ready for entrepreneurship when your heart is in solving a problem that is not being solved, and it's going to help, I don't say the greater good, but help a business, help people do better, do even more. And so that's where I think you're ready for entrepreneurship, because if you make really good coffee and you know, like, hey, there's not a place that makes coffee that actually has no fungus in it. And I know if I make this coffee with no fungus, it's actually going to taste great, taste better, but it's going to help people have lower inflammation. That's when you're ready to start it, because now you know exactly what you're going to go do. But if you just want to start a coffee shop, you might want to have a little bit more deeper understanding, because it's, unless you're taking on a franchise, it's different. You got Starbucks, that's not really an entrepreneur. You're just buying a franchise. Still are, but not truly. But nothing against that. But just saying, once you know when your heart, when you understand what you want to do can help people, either in business or out of business, then I think you're ready, because your passion, your inspiration, motivation won't be money. It'll be, I'm not at my goal yet because these people still need this help. How can I improve this idea that I have to make it even better? And that's with any business that's successful.
All right. So the last question I got for you, of all of these things I've asked you today, is there anything you think I didn't ask you, but the people do need to hear?
I mean, I don't think we talked about the actual time you have to put in to be an entrepreneur.
Speak on it.
So I think people need to understand that flexible hours means more than 9 to 5. And it's so funny. We had a shirt when I first came on with the company 3-5. It said, "I'm too creative for a 9 to 5." And people loved it. Oh, I love it. I hate 9 to 5s. But once they really started working, they were like, "My gosh, I'm always working." Like, yes, because the 9 to 5 was set up to give you some type of balance, to give you a start and an end. So you wouldn't be working forever. But as an entrepreneur, that doesn't mean you can't set your schedule to be like that. But in the beginning, you got to work unless you're extremely efficient. And if you're extremely efficient, then your work is going to be different. So the hours that it takes, really up to you and your efficiency, but it's going to take a lot of work. And I like you, I see things online to make it seem so easy, so quick, and it's a lie. Entrepreneurship is not easy. Entrepreneurship takes a lot of work. Entrepreneurship takes a lot of sacrifice, but it has a lot of upside if you actually do it, because you create jobs, you help create families, you help create opportunities for people to grow, to live, and you impact your community better than if you just, got a lot of money and gave it away. You're teaching people how to fish, not just giving them fish. So.
All right. Thank you. That's all I got. Of course.
Appreciate it, dog. I do have a new podcast called Quit Now. It's coming out in 2029. But no, I am starting a podcast and all that. Nothing about this. But I definitely will have you on when we do.
What's the name of the podcast?
I can't tell you yet.
Okay.
But the company brand is Lifestyle Network, and it's going to be multiple. It's going to be right now. It's launching next week, so you'll see LYFE. And the reason I have the Y is live your fullest every day life. So it's a lifestyle network, and it's going to have everything from what I do, fitness, health, speaking, to marketing, to media. And so I can't wait to continue pushing that. But if you need any marketing anything, 3-5 Creatives, hit us up. We'd love to tell your authentic story.
All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Man, appreciate you.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to another episode of the Just Quit podcast. And remember, choose the life that you deserve. Curtis, I appreciate your time. And I will be looking forward to that invite to the network.
100%. We'll be there.
All right. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.